Every year, preseason magazines drop, and fans flip through it looking to find out all the information on every team, their own team, their conference. It's become part of the ritual of college football. So I thought, what better way to start Season 4 than to make a Season 4 preview magazine. So this is the Unheralded Preview 2030, Season 4. Every article inside was written by a different voice from our fictional press corps. Different platforms, different agendas, and different levels of faith in what's being built here. So we're going to hit the highlights. Follow along. There is a link to the actual PDF in the show notes. So click on that if you really want to dive in deep. And because I'm a super nerd, I actually printed off this magazine from Canva. I put it together in Canva, printed it off, and let's take a quick look at this actual magazine. Okay, so here we go. This is the actual magazine. I was able to put it together in Canva and then order the actual physical magazine that got shipped to me. So it's pretty exciting. I just have one made. There probably won't be any more made, but there will be a PDF of this actual magazine in the show notes below. So right off the bat, let's start with the cover. I'm not going to go through everything, but there's a lot of iterations to the cover. I just wanted to get kind of the key players on here, offense, defense. It turned out really nice. And then we highlight the articles that are inside as well. So I'm really excited how it turns out. It looks like an actual legit season preview magazine. Okay, so first page is just kind of the overview, what you're going to see inside of it. You'll see this built, not bought slogan throughout the preseason magazine. I really like that. We're not really focused on the transfer portal. Again, we got one guy out of it last year. We got, I think, 2 or 3 out the year before. But we're really focused on recruiting high school guys and developing them. And then you can see at the bottom, official publication of the Unheralded Dynasty. Okay, next page, we have our first ad. I wanted to have an ad for kind of the catering company that feeds the team. And so came up with Craftsman's Table, fueling the standard, nourishing the culture. I mean, there's so many cool things in here. You have to look through it on your own. Again, I'm not going to read through everything. And in that bottom, it says, what we put on the table shows up on the field. Eat with purpose, play with purpose, win with purpose. So purpose in everything we do, even down to the food we eat. All right, next page, we have our letter to Roadrunner Nation from Coach P.J. O'Connell. And for this, we're going to turn it over to Coach O'Connell.
To Roadrunner Nation, Season 3 is behind us. 10 wins, a victory over LSU that I will carry with me for the rest of my coaching life, a bowl game comeback that reminded everyone in that building and everyone watching what this program is made of. 6 players now in professional football, 2 of them first-round picks. That is real. That matters. I want you to feel the weight of what this program accomplished. And then I want you to set it down. Season 4 doesn't owe us anything for what Season 3 produced. The Creole Plains Conference will arrive in August with the same intention it had last year, to win. Our opponents have studied everything we built. That is the price of being noticed. It is a price I am proud we have earned, and it is a price we will pay by preparing harder and more honestly than we ever have. There is something I want our fans and our recruits to understand about how this program approaches the offseason. We are not just adding players to a roster. We are developing athletes, and there is a meaningful difference. A player knows his assignment. An athlete can execute it from multiple positions under pressure when the play breaks down, when nothing goes according to the script. That kind of athleticism is not an accident of genetics. It is trained, developed, and earned, the same way everything else in this program is earned. Our approach to physical development is built on a simple conviction. The body is an integrated system, not a collection of isolated muscles to be trained independently. Strength without movement quality is not athleticism. It is potential that cannot be expressed when the game demands it. Every workout, every movement session, every recovery protocol in this program is designed around that understanding. We build athletes who can actually use what they develop. We invest heavily in fascia-based training, developing the connective tissue that runs throughout the body and determines how well an athlete can move, absorb force, and generate explosive power. When we train the fascial system intelligently, we are not just making players stronger. We are making their entire bodies more capable, more resilient, and more responsive. We recruit athleticism as a primary quality, not just speed, not just size, but the capacity to move well, to control your body in space, and to respond to what the game demands. On offense, that means backs who can redirect without telegraphing, receivers who create separation through acceleration, and a quarterback who moves within the pocket as a natural extension of his decision-making. On defense, it means linebackers with the hip fluidity to drop cleanly into coverage, pass rushers who can bend and redirect, defensive backs who can mirror elite athletes without overcommitting. We are not defending anything. You cannot defend a record. You can only build on a culture. What we are building in 2030 is the next version of this program, one that has learned from everything Season 3 taught us, including what it taught us about pressure, about expectation, and about what it means to be seen. Our players handled that visibility with real character. I am proud of that. And I believe the work we have done this offseason has prepared us to handle an even greater level of it. Our plan of attack is unchanged in its foundation. Control what we can control. Put our athletes in positions to make plays. Trust the preparation. Trust each other. Trust the process we have been building since the first day this staff walked into the Alamo Dome. What has evolved is our capacity, physically, mentally, and as a team. We are deeper. We are more experienced. And we are hungry in a way that only comes from knowing what's possible, having tasted it, and wanting more. To our players, everything we have built here, every film session, every early morning, every recruit who chose this program when they had other options, every player who stayed when the easy path was to leave, has led to this season. You are the reason this is possible. Your role isn't your ceiling. It is your current floor. And the work we do together in 2030 will show everyone what this program is still capable of becoming. I am proud to be your head coach. Let's get to work.
So there you have it. Season 4, big things to come. Not resting on what we did in Season 3. And continuing to push forward and develop our guys and contend for championships. Next page, we got Year 4, the system takes over. This is written by Jasmine Williams, one of our AI writers of the Dynasty, the online publication forum. But a 2-page article by Jasmine jumps over to the second page. We'll get into that ad on there as well. But again, I think this came together really well. So in this one, Jasmine just kind of focuses on, in the first 3 years, we had guys that we kind of inherited who bought into what we were doing, who had experience. And now we've got guys that we recruited who don't necessarily have all the experience, but have bought into the system. So does the system take over in Year 4, or do we start back at square one? At the end of Jasmine's article, we've got an ad for the Unheralded Unleashed blog. We've got an ad for Unheralded Unleashed. At the end of Jasmine's article, we got an ad for the Unheralded Unleashed blog by Miguel, Roadrunner Mike Santos. Next page, we got it from 1-star to impact player by Carlos Big Game Rivera. He talks about 2 players, Ron Halassi, Daniel Hernandez, and kind of how they exemplify the culture we're building and are 2 guys to look to if you want to know what our culture is capable of. Another 2-page article. You get PDF is below if you want to check it out. Then we have our next ad here. I wanted to get one from Minnesota to the UTSA fan base, trying to promote Minnesota for people in San Antonio and Texas. Next, we've got an article by Jessica Torres, kind of our data specialist, our analytics specialist from the Unheralded Network. She's diving into Sateki Singh, all of his numbers. She has kind of a made-up stat called the consistency coefficient that she dives into. And then it's only fitting to have Sateki Singh with his NIL sponsorship with rebuilt compression sleeves, the one he wears on his throwing arm. Next, we jump over to the defense evolves. This is Miguel Roadrunner Mike. He dives into how the defense is kind of evolving under Joshua Leff, how we kind of lost a lot of players, and Joshua Leff is just going to kind of not miss a beat, not miss a step with the guys he has, and he's going to adapt. Then we kind of have an ad from UTSA to Minnesota, trying to draw attention to Minnesota recruits, get their attention down to UTSA, because we recruit Minnesota hard, and we got a lot of good players from there, Ron Halassi being kind of the main one. Then we've got our second full-page ad. This is for PJ O'Connell's foundation. It's called the Second Look Foundation. This ad turned out really well. It says every craftsman was a kid someone believed in first. Right, the Second Look Foundation works with young people who've been overlooked, mislabeled, or missed entirely. We believe the problem is rarely the kid, it's the lens. We help communities look again. Next page, we got Frank Morrison, our resident grump. He's got a 2-page article here, basically just questioning if they can sustain it. Right, we kind of set the expectation of 10-win seasons. Can our recruiting philosophy, our development philosophy continue to churn out 10-win seasons? And if not, will our fans be okay with that? Then we've got Javier Little, and his ad is for the Long Game Watch Company. It says every second, every rep, every game. A really cool ad that turned out for Javier. You can pause and read through that on your own, or click the link to the PDF. Next, we jump into the special feature about PJ O'Connell, Philip James O'Connell. And this is just called The Builder, written by Jessica Martinez. She was our TV, The Coaches Show host. And so she wrote a 4-page article about PJ O'Connell, his history, his philosophy, and how it kind of came to be. And then you can see here, down below, we've got our biggest sponsor, right? Our biggest booster, and Marcus Gutierrez. So he's got an ad there talking about the philosophy at UTSA. He's poured in a lot of money to our NIL so we can make sure our players are compensated fairly. Second page of PJ O'Connell's article here. Again, just kind of diving into his journey. But we've got another ad here with Keenan Yeast and the Rise San Antonio Sourdough Baking Company. All right, it says rises when nobody's watching. So it seemed like an obvious ad. Couldn't pass it up. Third page of PJ O'Connell's article. And then down at the bottom, we've got Drew Scher's NIL ad for standby generators. You hope you never need it. You're glad it was there. So because of his performance in our bowl game, he landed a pretty good NIL deal with standby generators. Last page of the article, just want to highlight that last quote there. You can kind of see, lined with that bold blue, it says he's been building towards this entire life. He just never needed anyone to know it. So again, the article kind of goes through PJ's whole journey, how he came up with his philosophy. He's been building this his entire life, kind of behind the scenes, and now it's getting recognition. But that's never what it was about. Then at the bottom of the page, we got Sean Boone. He got a Boom energy drink signed with them. Only seemed fitting, after the game where he had a big touchdown run against TCU, and we had the Boom from Boone. And so Boom Energy reached out right away. They're a mushroom-based energy drink. You can pause and read more about it, but that's a cool ad for Sean Boone. Next, we got Culture is Greater Than Talent, written by Mike Rodriguez. Again, he's a co-host on the Coaches Show. He got a 2-page article in here. We'll focus in on that last quote there in the blue. It says, culture beats talent. I've been saying it for years. This program is my proof. Then we've got an ad from UTSA football, just wanting to thank the fans. It says, we compete to become better together. And so that's kind of the slogan heading into season 4, and will probably carry us forward as well. I just love the idea of highlighting that we're very competitive, but we do it together. And the Latin definition of compete is to cooperate with. And we don't think of that as just compete within our team and cooperate with our team, but to compete and cooperate with our opponents, right? What are they showing us that we need to work on? So we're never dismissive of our opponents. We're never jealous of them. There's no hatred. It's always just trying to learn from them and understanding that they're asking more from us and asking us to be better. So we cooperate with them in that regard. Obviously, we don't cooperate with them to help them win a game, but we cooperate to make each other better. The next part is a senior flashback. You can look through these in more detail, but it's just kind of highlighting the scouting we did on each of these players when we took over the program. So there's Drew Scher. We got his high school accolades in there, kind of the growth he's had, a character scout. We got John Costanzo here. Jason Lutris was a JUCO guy. Keenan Yeast is over here. Ramon Tinker. Cliff Fleming. Got Eric Colombo, Daniel Hernandez, and then Marco Toner. So if you want, you can kind of, again, dive into the PDF, check those out. That was fun to put together, kind of how these guys have grown, what we saw from them their first year when we took over, why we decided to keep them. Some really cool pages in there. And then lastly, we've got our roster. Again, pretty minimal, but it will tell you, the player, position, their overall, their development trait, how many caps they have, the star they were ranked out of high school. So we got offense on the first page here, and then defense on the back, and that's the end of the magazine. So again, had a lot of fun putting that together, but we're looking for big things out of season 4. Uploads are probably going to be slower. There's just more going on, and I want to continue to take the time to do this well. Create the backstories for players, the stories for the program, and things like that. So hopefully you continue to stay tuned in, stay locked in. And if you're finding it for the first time, hopefully you were able to binge. When I first started this, I thought, this is going to be a slow burn dynasty. That was back on the Xbox 360. And I just thought, I just want to build something where if somebody finds it and they like the first episode or one episode, they're excited to go back and start from the beginning and follow along. And they're excited to have 4 seasons worth to follow along. So that's kind of how I think about it. A year from now, somebody maybe finds it and they have 5 seasons, 6 seasons to catch up on, and they're excited about that. So I'm not trying to pump out 2 videos a week. I'm focused more on just, 1 good video a month, maybe 2, something like that. But again, hopefully you continue to follow along. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe, hit that like. More goodness is coming. All right, some may say that's a tad overboard, but again, I've really enjoyed building this dynasty, this universe. But this is meant to be kind of a slow burn dynasty. The first dynasty I did, if you look back on my playlist, is a slow burn dynasty on the Xbox 360. I knew I didn't have time to upload every day, for sure not more than twice a week back then, and now it's slowing down even more. But I do really enjoy building this, creating the stories and things like that. So I'm going to continue to upload, but it's going to be far less frequent than it used to be. I think, when I was uploading the most, it was probably 2 times a week. Then I went to 1, and it was like once every 10 days. So this will probably be kind of a once a month upload. We'll see if it's, 1 or 2 games, what stories come out, but I'm just going to play it by ear because I do want to continue to build it. So hopefully you continue to follow along. So until our first game, week 0, keep gaming, keep growing, and keep celebrating those obscure victories. Game on.